games in a row for the first time in his career to put the gloss on the scoreline. But there at the bottom of your screen, confirmation that Liverpool have lost 6 of their last 7 Premier League games. It is a staggering result for Nottingham Forest, an astonishing one. Their fans will be celebrating, but they are some of the few remaining still at Anfield. Fans leaving disappointment for the Liverpool fans once again, Michael.
Well, there's no hiding place, obviously, going forward. And that's just what happens when when you start losing your self-belief, your confidence. It starts happening like that. But in patches, Liverpool are still fat. I mean, that first 30 minutes, I was drooling over their performance, thinking this is brilliant. This is exactly what Liverpool are all about. And then it just, you can see the confidence just fading away as soon as they don't score a goal.
Yeah, celebrations for the Nottingham Forest travelling fans. It's the first time they've won away this season, and what a ground to do it at, in what a manner that they've managed that victory. It's the second season in a row they've gone to Anfield and they've kept Liverpool from scoring, and they've left with all 3 points. Huge result for them, but from a Liverpool perspective, massive as well.
Yeah, of course. I think if you look at Nottingham Forest's point of view, it's a terrific run at the moment, isn't it? Sean Dyche has come in now. I think that's 3 wins, 2 draws in his 6 games in charge. So what a turnaround. It's amazing a bit of structure and belief can have. But, they're on a real roll at the moment. But, yeah, like you said, Liverpool, they're testing the character at the moment. This is a run of form that they've not been in for a long, long time. Very, very difficult, obviously, now to retain the title, you would think, with the amount of losses they've had already. And it's a tough time. Like you said, a few seeds of doubt start to creep in, even with top players and top teams.
It really is a tough period for Liverpool. That is the headline news. They've dropped as it stands to 11th in the Premier League.
Of the match, plenty of moments to choose from, though, for that accolade from the Nottingham Forest point of view. Not so much from Liverpool, who really struggled, and Damien reckons that their manager might be under a fair amount of pressure sooner rather than later. So, second half kicks off. They've already had a bit of a little bit of a let-off with a goal being disallowed in the first half, which would have put them 2-0 up, put Forest 2-0 up. And yet, within a minute of the second half starting, this happens, Kenny.
Yeah, first of all, I thought it was a mistake not making those changes at half-time. I think it warranted it. Until 1 minute into the second half, it's all over. McAllister, again, not near the pitch where you want him, 1v1 inside his own penalty box. It's not a strength in terms of defensive side of his game. He has to do better there. He gets done. Nico Williams is absolutely great, just checks it back into the space. There's a great run from Morgan to get wide to the near post. That kind of drags Van Dijk and Kanat to the near post there. You have a look at that. That opens up the space. Gakpo's a little bit late in reacting.
Yeah, listen, it's really poor from McAllister. A minute into the second half, he's obviously come out lacking in concentration. And they deserve to be 2-0 up, because we spoke at half-time about that disallowed goal, which was a travesty. And they deserved that to go 2-0 up. And then once they got the nose in front, that low block just got tougher and tougher to break down.
You say it was a lack of concentration at the start of the second half. I would have thought that that's a time where you're fully clued in. Like, maybe as you get tired, as the half goes on, it starts wobbling.
You've had a break and you've come out and the ball's come inside, and it's an easy one for him to make the tackle, to just get his body in front of it. And invariably it favours him, because, Nico Williams is spinning around and he's the one that's in a good position. But he obviously just wasn't concentrating, wasn't strong enough, and Nico Williams skipped by him.
Yeah, but it happens too often. This isn't an isolated incident, because this is what I'm talking about, that central midfield there. You can't trust him. Technically very good player, very good footballer, but makes too many mistakes. I don't trust him in that area of the pitch. Sloboslai's in his position there inside the box. He doesn't make that mistake. He's more aggressive. He's more switched on defensively. But these are the small things. There's loads of this, but this is where you start fixing it. This is where you start fixing Liverpool. Where do you start fixing? Well, there you go for a start. Get McAllister out of the team, get Sloboslai in that central midfield area. See, defensively, you're more solid. That's a start.
They're all symptoms. Stuff like that are symptoms of a bigger problem, right? For a goal to go in, people make mistakes. It always happens, right? And you can always point to those mistakes. And people say, well, if we don't do that. But those mistakes are symptomatic of an underlying issue, that the players aren't as focused, as motivated, as hungry as what they used to be. So there's obviously a bigger issue at play here, the lack of oomph in their game for him to make those tackles.
Forest certainly looked hungry and motivated under Sean Dyche, and Morgan Gibbs-White got their 3rd goal at Anfield.
Oh, listen, man, we all have this moment when you're an old player, and unfortunately Andy Robertson's had a lot of them recently. He hasn't got the confidence to stand square with Amari Hutchinson, so he just edges that he's going to go down the line. Young boy maybe doesn't give him enough help, but he needs to stay level with him here and get him down the line, but he just bites a bit too much. And then he can't work his feet, and that is just age, unfortunately, catching up with you. Alisson makes a reasonable save. Can he get it out of the danger area? Listen, it's a powerful shot, and then they're on their heels on the edge of the box as well, and it falls beautifully to Gibbs-White, and he finishes it brilliantly. But as I said, we did a Scotland game during the week, and he wasn't good, Andy Robertson. A lot of moments like that where people were skipping by him and he's getting caught out. Unfortunately, time has just caught up with him. He's been a brilliant servant to Liverpool. But that is just not acceptable.
But then we talked about another problem, because we talked about Kirkes before the match, and you highlighted why that hasn't worked so far. So that's why Robertson is getting more game time. Kirkes started today, Robertson comes on because they feel like they need his solidity because they haven't replaced him adequately.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I think you have to stick with Kirkes. You have to kind of trust him. He's in a difficult place at the moment. Confidence-wise, he's struggling. But Robertson isn't the solution. You might have to think out of the box. Spoke about Gomez as centre-half. Joe Gomez had played portions of career at left-back at Liverpool not too long ago. Played very well as well. A defender who you can trust in that area of the pitch. Is he going to go into centre midfield and light things up, this kind of rotation that we're used to seeing? We saw it today from Kirkes. I don't think that's helping him out. When you're lacking in confidence as a left-back, make the game simple. Stay in your orthodox left-back position. We understand and keep it simple. Play your winger, go and support. Stay in an area of the pitch where you're comfortable. Don't ask a player lacking in confidence, an orthodox left back, to start drifting into midfield and inside left areas in the pockets and start playing in those areas of the pitch.
Forest deserve a little bit of love here. So who have you picked out specifically?
Picked out Murillo, but it could have been a couple. It could have been his partner Milenkovic alongside him. They're outstanding last year, these two. They really were. Murillo today, particularly in that kind of first half, just natural defensive instincts, just dominating the penalty box, winning headers, anticipating danger. This is exactly what I'm talking about, sliding across, winning possession, nice and calmness as well, and putting his body on the line. But it's not just that, it's about calmness as well. This was laid on a brilliant block. Milenkovic done the same. I'm going to mention Elliot Anderson as well in that kind of central midfield area. His work rate, he's a highly technical player, but he absolutely worked like a dog today for the team, and this was like a cherry on top. I can't believe his first touch here. Szoboszlai probably thinks when he has that first touch, we're going to get a tackle here, but he gets the shot off that quickly off his second touch. It's an absolutely wonderful finish, and yeah, congratulations to him today. But it was a real collective effort.
He was brilliant. He really was. And the moment of Milenkovic shrugging Salah off the ball. I mean, even Salah got up and went, he was back to their formidable best.
Yeah, there was a bit of controversy over that goal, and Dijk was the Nottingham Forest who looked like he was in line with the goalkeeper in some way in Alisson's vision, but as you can see there, they decided that he wasn't. What Liverpool fans won't like to see is that the last tweet before the international break that was posted out by the officials was about the goal that was disallowed
there's a difference
for them against Manchester City. I know, but if you're a Liverpool fan, it's like, I know, but there is a distinct difference between the two incidences. I mean, it's right, Andy Robertson, he ducks out of the way of it. So, this one is far enough outside the width of Ndoye that I don't think it affected. I think it's a correct call.
Yeah, I don't think too many Liverpool fans will be worried about that. I think they'll know there's bigger fundamentals.
Yeah, I think they would be worried if it finished 1-0, but it was just there was so many other issues after that was...
It was the atmosphere inside the stadium. You got a sense of that. They were very educated Liverpool supporters looking at that performance and thinking, oof, there's a job on here.
Alexander Isak came back into the team today. Is he another symptom of what's going on?
Not enough for me. Really, really poor. I mean, touches like this, he's starting to get up to speed now, so push is coming to shove. He doesn't look comfortable. Listen, these are two big centre-backs that are very, very hard, but he should be getting across the front of Milenkovic there. Again, you've got to front up and accept that. That's what he normally is. And this is his bread and butter for Newcastle, where he just catches that clean and it flies into the net, and he got whipped. So I think he's had enough minutes now in a Liverpool shirt where push is going to come to shove with him, and he needs to start producing big time.
I think he will, but Liverpool have got to help him. This is a different Liverpool team who play a different way to Newcastle. I think of him, visualise him in Newcastle, his best goals, kind of Newcastle dropping off, drawing teams onto them, hitting teams, his pacing behind into space. Not going to get a huge amount of that with Liverpool. They dominate possession. You talk about opposition teams, that low defensive block. So he needs a little bit of help. He's a bit like Haaland. Haaland isn't going to get the ball in around the penalty box, drop his shoulder, beat 2 or 3 and put it in the net. He's dependent on service, and this fella as well. And that's why it comes back to me. Have they got that number 10, that little creative influence who's going to play within 10, 15 yards of him? They played with 3 centre midfielders today. That didn't help him. Played with Salah, who was ineffectual on the right hand side. Gakpo didn't do too bad. So he's going to need a bit of help. As good as he is in this Liverpool team.
It's a new thing for Liverpool to be playing with number 9. I know Núñez came in, didn't work out for him, but so often it was Diaz coming off in that false 9 stroke extra 10, right? And as centre backs, then you have a problem if you've not got someone up against you.
They had Firmino for a long time.
Exactly. So they're so used to that false 9, should we call it? Whereas now you got centre forward up against 2 centre backs, and you got to get him service. You got to get crosses in the box. Salah isn't known for his crossing. He tends to go himself and try and create his own chances. Gakpo is very, very similar. So they need to get him to service.
So many issues, so many problems for Liverpool to get fixed. My head's spinning a little bit with this post-match analysis, I have to say. So we'll take a quick break. I'll get myself together and we'll... They end up losing 2-1 to Brighton. Wolves beaten at home by Crystal Palace in Rob Edwards' first game in charge. No doubt about the result of the day, though, and that's the one that you saw here live on Premier Sports. second year in a row, actually, that we've shown this fixture. So I'd say if this pops up at a 3 p.m. Saturday kickoff next year, you better hope the Premier Sports isn't showing it if you're a Liverpool fan. Virgil van Dijk is ready to talk.
Virgil, it's another tough day for Liverpool. Why isn't it working at this moment in time?
We conceded too many easy goals. I think the first half an hour we were good, created good opportunities. They scored, obviously, on a set piece again. That you can ask yourself if it was in front of Alisson, but it counted, so you 1-0 down. And I think overall, we were just not good. Good in terms of the battles, the challenges, the second ball fight, too rushed. So it's a very, very difficult situation at the moment, but it was a tough day.
When you talk about the set piece, which you conceded from, very similar to what happened with you, Manchester City, but obviously the opposite outcome. But overall, all the players were up to try and defend that goal, like all 11 players, and don't usually see that. Is there a sense of nervousness about the team?
Well, there's nervousness, I think, after we conceded, but not during that particular moment. I think you sense that you want to rush things after we conceded, trying to find the equalizer as soon as possible, and obviously that's human when you're in a difficult moment. But yeah, I don't think there is nervousness before a set piece. I think we cleared the ones before. In the end, obviously, like I said, we're just in a very, very difficult moment and we have to get out of it. But you don't get out of it by just speaking about it. And like I said many times, I'm obviously here speaking to you guys because I have to. I'd rather sort it out with my team on the pitch, and that will take a lot of hard work by the looks of it.
But you do take on that responsibility, don't you? You do talk about it as the leader, as the captain. You take on so much responsibility for this team. How do you go about then finding this solution to this problem that you're in?
Yeah, it's definitely a problem, and obviously, like you said, I take responsibility. But I think everyone in the team, not only the starters but the guys around as well, have to take responsibility as well, because football is a team game. We all do it together, and we need everyone at their best. And in order to win games, you have to take responsibility. And that's what I've mentioned as well. And now you have to, you have to digest this, take it on the chin, and work harder. And obviously, I've been saying it quite a lot already this season, and it's not been working out so far. But we have to keep.
Just lost him at the end there, but I think he made it very clear that he was fulfilling his contractual obligations by doing that interview. Nobody
Similar
wants
to myself and Damien.
coming into the studio every week with me. Yeah,
not true choice.
I think his first answer is probably the most interesting. He said we didn't win the battles, challenges, second balls. I mean, surely that's not acceptable for the defending champions not to be winning at least some of those basic battles.
Well, clearly it's not as simple as that. In and out possession of the football, it's not good enough. Take that to an extent. Like I'm taking about, not to labour a point, say McAllister in centre midfield. Is he going to get around the pitch and make those kind of biting tackles, really impose himself physically? No. So straight away, is he right in that respect? Yeah, maybe so. So that needs a little bit of looking after. In terms of physicality and bite in other areas of the pitch, I'm not too sure. I look like a team that's lost a little bit at the moment, really kind of lacking in confidence. That's how I see it. Disjointed, out of balance, out of kilter. I'd never accuse this Liverpool team of lacking kind of character or bite or tenacity.
No, these are the challenges. But it's their own captain who's saying that they need to be winning more second balls.
You need to be winning, but the indication there is they're not quite the interview there. They're not quite trying. They're not easy-osy. I'd never accuse that Liverpool team of this.
Before the match, you already said you didn't think they were going to be able to defend their title. Do you think the same thing now?
I am aware before the game, I thought Liverpool were still in this title race, and I thought that they would get a head of steam up. Only because they have the ingredients to do that. They have the players to do that. But it's not happening for them at the minute. And I think this and the manner of this, like we can all lose football games, but the manner in which they were beat today is going to take a huge toll on them. And no, I do think that to come back from that is going to be very, very difficult when you're mixing European games as well during the week. I don't know how close any of the injuries are in terms of Wirtz or Frimpong. Can they add anything to it? Or can anybody offer something that they're lacking at the minute? It's a tough one for him.
Damien, thank you. Kenny, thank you so much. And to any Liverpool fans who are still watching.
Nottingham Forest lead at Anfield. Let's look at the goal that put Liverpool behind, and it came from Murillo. Michael, take us through this one, please.
Yeah, I mean, Liverpool have been really, really good in the first half an hour of the game, and of course a set piece, and that's been their undoing. It's almost been the story of the season so far. It's a lovely finish from Murillo.
Yeah.
You know, it gets flicked, he takes a lovely first touch, and it's out of his feet quick, and he smashes it into the bottom corner. Now, this could get a little bit controversial. Ndoye is in front of Alisson. He's not impeding his view. But I think his left leg is in an offside position.
We have confirmation that he is offside.
Right, well, if that's the case, then Liverpool fans are going to have a real complaint saying, well, if Andy Robertson's was given offside a couple of weeks ago against Manchester City, why on earth is that? He's right in the middle of the goal. Similar in terms of, yes, Alisson can see the ball, and so could, Manchester City's goalkeeper, Donnarumma, a couple of weeks ago. But the goalkeeper wouldn't have saved it regardless. I think that goal, despite him being an offside, should have stood. But I also think Andy Robertson should have stood as well.
Yeah, major deja vu for Liverpool. Let's look at the official word from the match centre, the Premier League match centre. The referee's call of goal was checked and confirmed by VAR, with it deemed that Ndoye was not in the line of vision of Alisson and did not make an action that impacted an opponent. Same question for you, Gary. What are your thoughts on that incident and the offside?
Yeah, well, it was obviously confirmed that he was offside. So my thing was, can Alisson see the ball? And I think you can probably see from this angle here, actually. He can.
But so could Donnarumma 2 weeks ago.
Here, he has a clear sight of view there.
Yeah.
So for me, that goal should stand, and it did. I agree with what Michael's saying, and Arne Slot will feel aggrieved for sure, having had that one.
Yeah. Goalkeeper's never going to save it, is he? Never in a million years. He sees the ball, and he was never going to see it.
Yeah.
Never going to save it anyway. But as I say, I think it's very, very similar to a couple of weeks ago.
Well, let's look at that one just before the international break, because obviously that's a big bone of contention.
Yeah.
What's the difference here?
Well, the difference is that Andy Robertson makes a movement, doesn't he? He actually ducks out the way. But the rule states that it's got to be a movement towards the ball or affect an opponent. But what opponent is he affecting here? When Virgil van Dijk heads the ball, Donnarumma, you can quite clearly see, Andy Robertson's got nothing to do with him. This is the perfect angle. Donnarumma is never in a million years going to save that, whether Andy Robertson is there or not. That is my point. So he might slightly duck. He does slightly duck, but that doesn't affect an opponent, which is the bit that the PGMO will point to. It doesn't affect an opponent.
Yeah,
that should stand. But everyone realised, I think after the event, everyone believes that. And I think two wrongs don't make a right. I do think the Nottingham Forest goal should stand today. But you can imagine Liverpool fans around the world feeling, hang on a minute, we were robbed of a goal a couple of weeks ago and now one's been given.
Yeah, they'll be raging. Just to follow on from what you said, Match Centre last week, or with that Andy Robertson incident, said that he makes an action. And then this week, very clearly, that Ndoye doesn't make an action.
But that affects the opponent, Jules. It doesn't affect, that's the point. It has to affect the opponent. That does not affect Donnarumma. It doesn't affect him diving. It doesn't affect his sight. He doesn't affect anything. And nor does this one. This is not me saying, both of these goals should have box there. You could argue, some people around the world would be thinking, well, how can a person that stood right in the middle of the 6-yard box, in an offside position, in front of the goalkeeper, not be affecting it? Well, and that is a fair argument. But what I'm saying is that it's very difficult to justify one being given and one not.
It's so close. It's so close. They're the reasons. But like you've just said there, with Manchester City game, there's no chance he's saving that, regardless of anything. He really isn't. So I can see why Liverpool fans will be fuming. I can see why Arne Slot and the players will be angry. But this is the reason he made the movement. There's the movement. In the game today, there was no movement, and that's the reason behind it. But very, very harsh.
Yeah, but for Forest, that did stand. There was another incident and a big talking point, because this one was disallowed. I know you differ in opinions in terms of this. It was Igor Jesus, and we're just going to take a look at the incidents. The on-field incident was initially that it was a handball. What did you think, Michael?
Well, I definitely think it hits the arm, but it looks to me like it hits quite high. Personally, when I look back at that, I don't think it hits a position on his arm that is handball. I think it's almost more under the armpit. And I think Liverpool have got away with it. I think that could be a goal. Now, the one thing going against Nottingham Forest in this situation is the referee's call of handball on field. Now VAR have looked at it and said, right, well, we can't find any reason, any concrete evidence to say it's not, the position on the arm, etc. So they've gone with the on-field call, which I'm fine with. But if you're asking me, what do you think? I probably think that's a goal, and Liverpool have got away with it.
Yeah, no conclusive evidence is what it said. I mean, we've had to zoom in on it and stop and freeze and everything. What did you make of it?
I've watched it 3 or 4 times now, and in open play, for me, that's a goal. There's not enough in it. That's a goal, and Liverpool are very lucky.
Liverpool hoping to get back to winning ways, but it's not going according to plan for them. Forest won the